You don't need a spiritual teacher. You don't need a guide. You don't need anyone to tell you how things ought to be or how things should be or what you can indeed do. Because if anything, when you sign up to any of these things, they will distract you more than anything else. And what happens? There is a time when these things are appropriate. They're appropriate pre-awakening. Post a spiritual awakening, you really need not go anywhere for guidance. And the only guidance, if any, is your awareness, is going to be you basically taking your lead and saying, you know what, this is about me. I am going to become more aware. I'm going to sit with myself. I'm going to get to the root of this. I'm going to meditate. If you cannot bring yourself to meditate, you cannot bring yourself to become self-aware, and you're willing to put your hand in your pocket and pay somebody to go and do this, my friend, then ask yourself, are you really, really going through a spiritual awakening? Right? Because when you go through a spiritual awakening, you don't need anybody. It is usually before a spiritual awakening. And if anything, during a spiritual awakening, yes, there are issues with transition. Yes, there are issues. Yes, we go through so many things at that point. But in all of this, whether it's tarot, divination, anything, even meditation, yoga, breathing exercises, and all of that, right? They are all your tools. But what happens with us is when we are at our most vulnerable and then we go to find a guide, or we go because we want a teaching, or we want to feel a sense of community, what we then do is it takes over, and at the risk of us losing our authenticity, to the point that what you've basically done is you've copy and pasted. You have not moved, right? It may feel like you are moving mountains inside of you, but again, it's a sort of coping mechanism, again, for not being able to walk into your authentic self. So before, there was a hue and shade of maybe your inner self and your inner child, and maybe coping mechanisms because you're operating from a false persona. And now when you're in the storm of a spiritual awakening, it's a bit like you're looking for comfort. You need somebody to validate. You need somebody to even verify your experiences. But guys, you are a storehouse of divinity yourself. You have everything inside of yourself. What you really, really need right now is to simply sit with yourself, give yourself some time. And yes, of course, when you need that comfort, do go for it. Right? But again, take it with a pinch of salt. Don't make it your crutch. I have a lot of people coming to me. I have lots of clients coming to me, and the one disclaimer I always give to my clients is, when I think that you're now beginning to depend on me and I'm becoming a crutch for you, that's when I'll probably recede and say, well, you know what? We're not making any progress. Either I'm not doing my job properly, or this isn't working out for us. It doesn't work out because when you start to then depend, and to some extent, yes, it gives us levity, but to what extent are we going to tune into that levity before it becomes our own very crutch? And this is where you'll have to let go of that which even took you that far, which is our dharma, right? So these teachings, our guides, in a way, they become our dharma, and that dharma needs to be put aside when you've come to the shore and you've been taken there in this beautiful boat, right, of your guidance. Then you have to then leap onto the shore, knowing that your back is always going to be covered, knowing that wherever you are, you have your own answers inside of you. There is nothing new there, folks. There is absolutely nothing new that I can teach you or anyone else can teach you. Everything is basically self-discovery. Everything that I have discovered, I then pass it down to you. There are so many other teachers on this planet at this incredible time, right? And similarly, because I have a direct connection, so can you. right? If I can, if so many of us can, so can you. Simply give yourself a moment to be still, to be you, to be that awareness that you are. And in that, all the answers basically come. So my job, if you do sign up with me, is to basically hold the space and facilitate that space of a healing that is self-led with zero interference from myself. Lots and lots of love. Take care of yourselves and do drop me any comments. And if you think this has been useful, do share it so that we can continue to produce content like this. Lots of love.